Welcome to the number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Tom White, and joining me, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here for another week of PlayStation news.
Is there more PlayStation news?
There is none. No, that's what's exciting.
Yeah. There's not much. Let's be real. So in the trophy cabinet this week, bronze trophy for Uncharted movie news, silver trophy for Dreams coming to its full release finally it seems, a gold trophy for Battle Royale hopefully coming to Call of Duty and Modern Warfare, and we hit a platinum. Talk about Death Stranding again because I put up a review and I gave it a 9.5. So week 2 Death Stranding update time start segment. I finished it. I finished it in less than a week, technically, Well, not technically. Really, I finished it in less than a week, just. Because I finished it on the Thursday, got it on the Friday. Gave it a 9.5. Reviews up on exposurenetwork.com now, of course. You can read that if you'd like. 9.5 is pretty high, I would say. Now, obviously the games, like the reviews I got when it came out range from the full spectrum, but I definitely feel like I've fallen into the whole of I'm in love with this video game. If it's not my game of the year, it's definitely in my shorts top 3 or whatever you want to call it. You know, like it's up there for sure. Which I guess for the people who hate the game or don't understand how it's fun at all, it's such a hard concept to grasp. Like, you're saying this is the best thing you've played. I'm fucking bored out of my mind playing it, kind of thing. You know, so it's an interesting one for a lot of people who potentially could have it in their game of year discussions. Now, I think it's hard to discuss all the reasons I like it so much, story-wise, without spoilers, obviously. But I can say the main reason I like it so much is a lot of the stuff that people don't like. And I guess that's like the defining factor of if the game is for you or not. In that, I mean, like, I enjoyed a lot of the having to work away from an area. And because the first time you work away through an area, you're by yourself, and you got no help. You just have to make the travel, and it's tedious and hard and whatever, and you got to dodge the mules and BTs around areas and whatever else. And it's like a sort of puzzle to work out how you got to do it. And then a lot of it comes down to being patient. You know, like you want to run for it, like especially if you come to a BT area, it's like just got to be patient. You got to take it slow and careful. Whatever else, you know, like I kind of enjoyed all this stuff. And then like the reward was you got to the other end to where you're trying to get, and you'd connect up the area to the chiral network, which is also then connects your game to the actual internet. And then all of a sudden this area that you just traveled through by yourself was filled up with like not everyone's obviously, but however it works out what to include in your game. People's ladders and other sorts of objects are included. And I think that the constant thing of that loop is kind of what I viewed the game's loop at. By the time I got to the end of the game, it was like this whole thing of like work for an area by yourself, and the reward was then that area being easier to traverse and make your way around in any future trips, because all of a sudden all of these other people's stuff would be brought on board for you to do. And other than that, I'd say, once again, can't talk about spoilers obviously, but the last few chapters of the game, it gets to a certain chapter where things basically kick into like, we're an action game now, less like, just a lot more linear it becomes.
It gets into Metal Gear.
Yeah, it gets into Metal Gear, yeah. Say it that way. It definitely has chapters that start to feel a bit more Metal Gear influenced rather than just delivering the packages and stuff. And they tease you with a certain chapter early in the game that's like, hey, here's a thing, and then you get towards the end of the game, it's like a lot more of that. And that's where the story starts to unfurl itself a lot more, and you learn characters' background stories, all these sorts of things, what's happening, what's going on. The end of the game is basically a 2-hour cutscene. It's absolutely bonkers. Like, you're like, I just sat through this, but at the same time, it's like, I wasn't bored, and I'm also like, you know what? I just spent so much time like tediously walking around. I'm just happy to sit here and watch this 2-hour cutscene or whatever was happening. And by the time I got to the end of that game, as I say in my review, and I still can't stop thinking about it. Every day I'm still thinking about the game. Like it really has. It's the only game I think this whole year that like days after release, I'm still just like thinking about it. Like from story perspective, from gameplay perspective, like so many reasons I like the game, so many things I wish I could discuss with people, you know, like kind of thing. Like I've been doing the thing of going to Reddit threads and just reading through people discussing the game, spoilers and all these sorts of things, because obviously I'm getting like my fix that way for it. But yeah, like finishing that game at like 3 a.m. I was just like, wow, that was a video game, you know, like that was a top notch video game. Now I suppose it's like, oh, I gave it a 9.5. You love it so much, Dylan. Why didn't you give it a 10? My only main criticism, apart from, it's, you know, there's things like, oh, could you cut one of these? Could you cut like one or two of these missions to make the game a little bit shorter? It's like that's up for debate, I guess. But my main critique is that, much like all of Hideo Kojima's games, it has a very like, at times like the camera acts differently around the female character. What do they call it? Male gaze, male. Yeah, I think that's the terminology people use when it comes to female characters. Now, I think that one of the reasons that I'm happy to say I really like this game is I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as he's done in the past. Like, as much as I like the Phantom Pain, Metal Gear Solid 5, I love that game. I think like the gameplay in that game is phenomenal. And I love that as well. People said that game was too boring, didn't have enough story. I loved it. I don't know if that adds up to why maybe that adds into why I like Death Stranding so much. I don't know.
Overrated.
Yeah, story's overrated. But that game and Quiet, I could never get on board with Quiet in that game. Like the whole thing about here's a character who literally walks around in nothing is one thing, and then being like, well, it's because her skin needs to be able to breathe. That's another thing. But then also like having, well, there's a story reason, but then it's like, well, what's the story reason for the camera like constantly like going up and down her ass every time she shows up? You know what I mean? Like you can try and like be like, here's a character reason and a story reason for this character to dress like this. And then it's like, okay, well, if you're going to do that, how about we don't just, you know, like, we know what's going on here. You just like doing the things. And there's a couple times that Metal Gear does that. And the one thing I do point out in my review, though, that I do think is important, is I'd say the game is a very bisexual game in that it likes to treat its male characters with, like, views them sexually as well at times, I guess. Like, there's very, like, you can literally go in the shower and it's like the camera literally pans around Norman Reedus' body and like stops on his ass and like right before where his genitals would show up and all this sort of thing. Mads Mikkelsen character shows up and it's very like close up of his face, like smoking a cigarette, this sort of thing. Like it all seems very sexual with what's going on. So you can argue that the game does both male and female, sexualizes them both or makes them both hot or whatever. Big sexies out for both characters, which it is. But the one thing that irks me is that when the male characters are having a moment, like an actual like moment, the camera's like on their face, like getting like serious or whatever, because it's like their moment. There are several times in the game where like female characters are having like proper story moments, and yet the camera will still like go to an inappropriate shot for some reason. I'm like, you're so close. Why? You know, like with all these characters get their big sexy moments, but then the male characters and the female characters seem to get a little bit treated a little bit different when it comes to their serious character moments for whatever reason. But I'd say compared to Quiet in Metal Gear Solid 5, Hideo, it's a lot better than that. I would say. Now obviously we've both been playing Jedi Fallen Order as well. We can give a little bit on that in a second if you want, but is there much progress you've made since last week or update?
No, I'm still trucking along.
Trucking along, yeah.
It's a pun because I got a truck.
Yeah,
I'm portering along.
Yeah, it's a pun because you're a porter. But yeah. I guess the important thing is, well, let me ask you this, because you had to read my review. Did my review make you, seeing how much I like it, does it make you want to keep playing it more, or you're just like,
yeah, it does make me want to keep playing it at least to get. I feel like I need to complete this game. Yeah. I feel like it's an important thing to complete.
Like if
to get the full picture.
There's only thing at one do I do for the rest of this year.
Yeah,
it's complete Death Stranding.
Yeah, that's the one goal I have left of the year. So.
Yeah, we'll go over Jedi Fallen Order real quick because I want to complain a little bit, I guess.
You want to vent.
I want to vent a little bit. So I won't spend too much time on it because I'm still. I literally finished it like 2 hours before we started recording this. I'm still kind of processing, and I think I'm going to try and have a review up by the end of the week. But so I'll probably get my more thoughts out on Arcade Couch when I have more time to like digest what I think and stuff. But my initial thoughts for this, and one thing I do want to say is that because obviously I'm playing on PS4 Pro, one thing I've tweeted about that I pissing me off is the load times in this game are ridiculous. They're doing my head in, honestly. They did do my head in. So I started playing the game on Jedi Master difficulty. This is the one where, I'll say the difficulty settings in this game I quite enjoy because it's not just like easy, hard, medium. It's like here's different settings and here's literally what it changes. Like you don't have to guess what it changes. It doesn't say like, oh, enemies will be more aggressive, whatever. It literally tells you. It's like Jedi Master difficulty. The reason I started on that one is because it's like everything's even. Enemy aggression, parry time window, enemy damage to you. The three things it has. Even across the board. I'm like, okay, I'm starting on that one. That one seems the most neutral. I'll start with that difficulty. Now, I dropped it about 3/4 of the way through the game, which seems like a silly time to drop it because it's like, I've already done this much of the game. Why bother dropping it? Just see the thing through. But the epiphany I had, and the reason I changed it, is that I thought back on a boss fight I'd just done that took me like 30 to 40 tries or something. And I was like, if every load time is averaging between 20 to 30 seconds, and I was counting them because I was getting annoyed. So I'm sitting there like, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, like, I'm like, count them up. I'm like, if I died that many times, I've literally wasted 15 to 20 minutes in load screens. Let alone any other deaths I've had in the games at this point. I'm like, by the time I finish this game, I'm going to have spent like an hour to 2 hours just in load screens. So I was like, you know what? I don't have the fucking time. I dropped down the Jedi Knight difficulty, and that's what I ended up seeing the game through on. Now you're like, well, how does the difficulty fix the load screens, Dylan? It doesn't fix the load screens. It just means I was dying way less. especially when it came to the next. I had 2 boss fights left in the game at this point. Yeah, I had 2 boss fights left in the game at this point, and I still died. Like even on Jedi Knight difficulty, I'd say the game is. Like, if you've never played like a Bloodborne or a Dark Souls or a Sekiro, something, any of these sorts of games that this combat's trying to rip on, I would say that Jedi Knight difficulty is going to be still quite challenging for most people. So I honestly wouldn't be afraid to just play on that one. I think for people who have played Souls games, Jedi Master difficulty, the one where it's like all even, that's the most like makes sense. Even then, I think if you're a hardcore Souls player, you're probably just going to want to bump it up because it may seem too easy because the game's enemies aren't quite as aggressive as some of the like Bloodborne things and these sorts and whatever else. But given the option was there, I took it because I ain't got the fucking time. I dropped it down. So are you or are you not? Are you going to call me a damn liar because you're shaking your head and call me out on Twitter and all this bullshit? I'm just saying,
should have, not died as much. Then load screens wouldn't have been an issue.
I mean, it is true. It's a factual thing. But you're going to tell me that the load screens aren't long for you?
No, they're long, but I mean, I just checked my phone for a second, you know.
I want to check my phone. I want to play the goddamn game.
It just take a moment, reflect on the mistakes you made, and go again. You know?
Let's see how you go when you.
I mean, it's not great, especially in comparison to when you die, like traversally.
Yeah, it just loads you straight back in.
It like loads you straight back in.
Which
obviously they have to reset all the enemies, which it makes sense.
But also, I'll say that I don't like that load you straight back in. I actually find that annoying. Because for certain sections of the game, an enemy will be aggroing
There's no winning, apparently.
No, there's no winning.
Winning.
An enemy will be aggroing you in a corner. You will fall off a cliff, and instead of resetting the enemy's position or something, it'll respawn me directly where I fell off, where the enemy's still aggroing and attacking thin air, but I've loaded back in only to be killed again.
Just jump over it.
And I'm just like, the fuck sort of weird game design is this? Just do a Bloodborne or something. Just if I fall off a cliff, restart me back at the checkpoint. I don't give a shit. Just do that. I'd rather do that. Sit for a 30-second goddamn load time. I should say something positive about the game, I guess, because all I've done is complain about it. For the most part, I enjoy. I think it's okay. I think it's my overall thing. My opinions on Jedi Fallen Order is it's an okay game. It's an okay Star Wars game. It's an okay game that tries to do lots of things, and I don't think it does any of them particularly well, is my problem. It's like, oh, we got this Souls-like combat. It does it okay. It tries to be Uncharted. It does it okay. Tries to tell an interesting Star Wars story. I didn't think it was that interesting. Yeah, tries to introduce these new characters. Didn't really like them. It does an opening sequence that feels like Uncharted, and then it turns into a Souls game. Okay. You can't do all these sort of things. You never really get an epic sequence quite like that ever again. So it's like, let's go over what's going on here. Ash is enjoying it more than me, though, ain't you, Ash?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. So I'm up to Kashyyyk, so I'm going to be fighting with those Wookiees. Or with them, not against
I was going to
them.
say, you don't actually, I mean, I don't know if that's a spoiler, but you don't fight Wookiees.
No.
Is this your first trip to Kashyyyk? Or second trip?
Yeah, I just landed.
Okay.
No, I just did the walk level from the demo.
Mm-hmm.
The or whatever.
Then Saul Guerrero shows up.
Yep.
Gotta feed the Wookiees. Bokolet!
Yeah.
All right, there's my general. I'm gonna calm down.
Talk about it. Arcade Couch.
Yeah, calm down, and you can hear me talk about an Arcade Couch
Saturday.
Hopefully with Kieran on it because he's been playing it too, and then also on All Rain Explosion this week. That'll be out on Thursday, and on that, I'm not going to talk about the gameplay. I'm mostly going to focus on my thoughts on the game as a Star Wars story. I'm just going to treat it like a story because that show is obviously not for games. So, two different ways. Anyway. There's just a couple pieces of news that we got for this week. So, first one is that Rumour, Call of Duty Modern Warfare is getting a 200-player Battle Royale mode, comes from Push Square. A massive Call of Duty... What?
I'm just saying... If they obviously listened to the show where you said you're going to trade in.
Well, I did trade it in.
Well, they obviously weren't fast enough. They're like, how would we keep Dylan Blight playing Call of Duty this year? I don't know. Dash will ring you up and send you a message, and you'll pick up another copy. He'll send you another copy.
Get that discount happening. A massive Call of Duty Modern Warfare leak, certainly data mined, has hit Reddit. User Senscalo has supposedly uncovered just about everything you'd want to know about this in regards to the game's long-rumored Battle Royale mode, map regions, landmarks, match settings, gameplay mechanics, weapons, the whole shebang. As the headline in this article has already revealed, there's one big marking bullet point that Activision and Infinity Ward will no doubt want to push this new mode. It's apparently going to support 200 players. In order to accommodate that many combatants, the Battle Royale map is suitably gigantic. It's made up of 15 large zones, and it sounds like it's pretty varied. We couldn't possibly go into every single detail here, but if you want to know more, check out the Reddit post. And the Reddit post itself has the names and areas and stuff. It's like, the zones are called Airfield, Boneyard, Dam, Downtown, Gulag, Hospital, Port, Quarry, Storage, blah, blah, blah. Points of interest, including gas station, fire station, mode, Battle Royale, blah, 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 blah. Default options. See, this way you can tell it's a good data mine. And by good data mine, I mean, I don't know if I like people data mining. I just mean that like it's probably legitimate because there's so much shit here. It's like endgame radar, ROM, playlists, solos, duos, squads, last time, standard health, blah, 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 infiltration, respawn. This is something. Respawn tokens can be looted. After one use, respawn tokens are disabled for the player. So it seems like they're going to be taking off Apex Legends here and adding the ability for you to actually be able to respawn. It says to respawn a teammate, obtain a respawn token, then drop their body near an ambulance. Once the body is dropped off at the ambulance, the player will enter the Gulag queue for a chance to win a 1v1 and respawn into the match. And if that's true, I gotta say, cool. I gotta be honest. If that's legit how it works, I think it's cool. It says at some point during the match, the Gulag will be closed and no longer usable to prevent respawnings. But I think that's cool because it would actually keep you... it means if you die and the rest of your squad's still playing, you're not like sitting there like just yapping along like kind of bored. It means you are in a queue for a 1v1 match. And that means that you still got a chance to do something and come back. And it's not just like, you can get respawned easy. And it doesn't seem infinite. It says respawn tokens are disabled for the player after one use. So you win your 1v1 if you win it. If you lose it, I suppose you loop back into the queue is the thing. You win your 1v1 and then you go back, but then you die again. So if that's the way it works, it's cool. Mission types, all these sorts of things. Miscellaneous. Fulton recovery device placed. Ooh, Fulton balloon successfully. Bunch of loot, bunch of shit, whatever. Whole heap of details on that Reddit post. I think the most important thing is that yes, if they add a 200-player Battle Royale mode, I will buy Modern Warfare again. I think that is perfectly fair. I don't feel like I ever was like, fuck this game, I'm never buying it again. No, I just said I was over the multiplayer. Said it wasn't doing it for me. Said I was bored. I was. I traded in. I got a lot of money for that shit too. I got like $40-something trading at EB for it. I paid $69 day one.
Don't they have that trade-in buyback price? So you can buy back at $46 rather than
I'll probably get cheaper than $46 by the time the Battle Royale mode's out. Let's be real.
I know. When do you think the Battle Royale mode's going to come out?
I don't know, it's been data mined, so I feel like I feel like it could get announced at the Game Awards.
That would make sense.
Like, that's the thing.
Shadow drop.
Yeah. Well,
update.
They could shadow drop it, or they could release it like the week following or something like that. Even if they're not releasing it till earlier next year, I just feel like this seems like something that could be a big announcement or like a random trailer announcement. But at the same time, I'm like, they could make it into a big Game Awards announcement. The Game Awards is only a couple weeks away. You got to remember, it's 18th of November today as of recording. This comes out 19th. Game Awards is 3 weeks away, I guess. No.
Jesus.
Yeah. Surely. They're out. Yeah. I don't remember the exact date. I think it's 9th or 10th of December, something like that. So, yeah. It's early December, so it's either way, it's less than a month away, so it could get revealed there for sure. Ash is doing Ash is doing the hard research. When is the Game Awards? Well, the nominees go up the day
13th of December.
13th, there you go. Okay, so I was a couple of days off, but either way, it's less than a month away. So my 3 weeks still stands. Still correct. Review on the Uncharted movie has been in hell so long it's turned Mark Wahlberg into an old man, writes Luke Plunkett at Kotaku.com. Sony has been trying to get an Uncharted movie made for over a decade now, and while the latest attempt to get a Nathan Drake story on the big screen starring Spider-Man's Tom Holland sounds like it might actually get made, the addition of Mark Wahlberg to the cast this week is a reminder of just how deep the development hell this project's been in. You might not remember, but this isn't the first time Mark Wahlberg has been attached to this movie. In 2010, he signed on to star in the film as Nathan Drake, with Robert De Niro to play his father, and Joe Pesci, his uncle. A year later, both he and the director David O. Russell were gone. Now, as Variety reports, he's back, only this time as part of the director Travis Knight's Bumblebee version, and rather than playing Drake, he'll be co-starring as Sully. I gotta be honest, I read this shit in the morning. I was in bed, I opened up Twitter whenever this happened. I read the headline, I just laughed. It's just like, that is a fucking fantastic headline. It's been in development hell so long, it's turned Mark Wahlberg into an old man. That is great. I love how you can go. I mean, it's true. It's like a movie. He was literally cast as Nathan Drake, and then the movie's taken 10 years, and now he's got cast as the older member of the cast. That's how long it's been around. It's fantastic. Oh, God.
To be fair, they've obviously de-aged Nathan Drake and Sully for the film from what they were developing. Look, so
I'm not asking you to be fair. I'm asking you to laugh with me.
And I think we can all agree, thank God, that 2010 version of the film didn't get made.
Well, I want Joe Pesci.
Terrible. As an Uncharted movie, that sounds bad.
Does it though?
It's like a general David O. Russell film with Robert De Niro in it, Mark Wahlberg and Joe Pesci. I'm sure it would have been fine.
What?
But
no,
as a true Uncharted film, that would have been terrible.
What?
Yeah.
What? Sully, you got it. What? No. Cross the gap. No. Cross the gap. I can't picture. No. I don't know how. I can't picture Mark Wahlberg as a Sully pseudo sit-in either, to be honest. I could not picture him as Nathan Drake. I could not picture him as Sully either. They've cast him in 2 roles in this movie now that I can't picture him in. I could never.
He's going to have to pull out those acting chops and grow that mustache. That's for sure.
I don't know. We're also
he's going to have to put on he can't have his Boston accent. He needs to.
He can. Gotta go get the treasure. Get the treasure. Dream's release date seemingly leaked by UK retailer, writes IGN. The UK retailer has posted a release date for upcoming Media Molecule game Dreams in a tweet that has since been deleted. According to the now removed tweet posted by Shopto, Dreams will release February 14th, 2020. Shopto quickly deleted the tweet, but before it disappeared, it was picked up by Twitter account at the Marmalade and subsequently tweeted boosted by notable games account at Nibillion. Without official word from Sony, it's possible to say if this is indeed the release date for Dreams or if Shopto simply made a mistake with the tweet. Retailers have often acknowledged upcoming release dates, but equally often use placeholder dates in the system without official release dates. This could be either situation. What do you think? Time for release to come out? Dreams come out?
Yeah, if it's ready, if they think it's good enough for the mainstream, I don't. Can you still get into early access, or is that?
I don't actually know because I haven't thought about it. I guess because we're in.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But yeah, they moved Last of Us out of February. Now Dreams is coming in. Makes sense. Comparable. One way to piss some people off. Well, you took freaking delayed Last of Us. Now you're going to give me the stupid game. Fuck you. I'll make my own Last of Us part 2. Make the Last of Us.
Make it yourself. Sony's like, you know what? Fuck you. You complain so much. Make the fucking game yourself.
Yeah.
Look, we made an early skin for you. That's as much as we're willing to do. We got it all. Turns out fans actually end up making The Last of Us 2 before The Last of Us 2 releases anyway. That'd be the ultimate funny.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I can see it coming out, honestly. Because it's like, it's not a game that you need a big conference for or like a big reveal for. Yeah. I feel like I could just wake up one morning and they're like, hey, Dreams is coming out officially, full release, February, whenever. And I'll be like,
edition, yeah.
I'd be like, okay, that is not a game that needs a big reveal. It honestly needs it needs less big reveal and more just put it out and then start trying to get people to play it. You don't need like to focus on day one sales. You need to focus on every sale thereafter kind of thing. I feel like all the day one people are probably already brought into early access anyway, you know? So
so the sales numbers are not going to look impressive, I feel like.
No, they won't.
But it's already been paid for like 7 months ago, arguably.
Yes. And, well, a lot of people got that early access, I think, from memory. Like, I don't know what the official numbers were, but I remember.
Well, I mean, anybody who wanted to got it.
Yeah. And it was like, however much cheaper, so.
It was like, $10 cheaper or something.
Yeah. So I definitely feel like anyone who had that game on their radar was like, oh, it's cheaper. I'll get in early access. Like, you know. I spent a hot 10 minutes fucking around with the creation modes, and we've other than that just been playing stuff. But I was still like, yes, early access, because even if I don't play it that much, it's still $10. It's still cheaper. It's still way cheaper option. So yeah, we'll do it for this week's episode of Platinum Explosion. You can follow me on Twitter at Vivaladil, VRVALADIL. You can follow Ash on Twitter at AshleyHobby, ASHLEYHABOLY. Follow the show on Twitter at Platt Podcast, and you can help out the show by either giving us a review on Apple Podcast or Podchaser. Alternatively, just tweet at any of the above accounts, below accounts, sideways accounts to tell us that you liked it. Join our Discord, chat to us about games, ask for trophy tips, send in questions, do what you need to do. ExplosionNetwork.com/Discord, and this is, of course, a product of Explosion Network, of which you can find many more shows, articles, news, reviews, including that Death Stranding review, at ExplosionNetwork.com. Follow Explosion Network on Twitter at Explosion Pod, and until next week, remember that every trophy counts.